the world.
Brian King Joseph filed the lawsuit in California earlier this week, accusing Smith of deliberately grooming him for exploitation.
This lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him, with Jaden and Justin present. That tape exists.
All right, y'all. At this point, it feels like every single day, some new mess comes out about how depraved Hollywood really is. So Empire actor Bryshere Gray has been going viral after some new reports claimed he was victimized by men in the industry, including, allegedly, Will Smith. And now Jaden Smith is speaking out and dropping little hints about his dad and those rumors we've been hearing for years about Will and Jada and their mentorship of young men.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming.
And it gets even more disturbing when you really start paying attention to how Will Smith has been treating Jaden over the years. Like always kissing him on the mouth in front of the cameras, playing it off like it's some kind of joke. Meanwhile, Jaden looked clearly uncomfortable every single time.
My baby boy, he's never leaving me ever. Ever. No emancipation for the Smith kids.
It's painless. Come on here.
Come on.
Jaden.
Just want him to feel the affection, you know? Like,
and it's true. I mean, there is a thing where I know you were like, but when
I want to kiss you and just say Jaden. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile.
Now look, I know some parents do stuff like that and it can be completely innocent. But when you're doing it forcefully in front of cameras and your child is clearly showing you they don't like it, that's messed up. And let's be real, if this was Willow and Will was grabbing her and forcing a kiss like that, people would lose their minds, and rightfully so. So why is it suddenly okay when it's Jaden just because he's a boy? And what really makes it even more uncomfortable to watch is this isn't just a random father and son. This is Will Smith, a man who already has all kinds of weird rumors and allegations around him. Matter of fact, just weeks ago, Will was hit with a lawsuit from a male violinist who claimed Will was manipulating him and trying to pressure him into some foul behavior. Professional violinist Brian King Joseph alleged in his complaint that Will was deliberately grooming and priming him for further exploitation after he was invited to join Will's global tour based on a true story 2025. Joseph described a traumatic series of events that allegedly took place in March 2025 during Will's tour and claimed that he discovered that someone had entered his Las Vegas hotel room and left a weird note that said, "Brian, I'll be back, just us," with a drawn heart and signed Stone F. Joseph also alleges that this person left a bunch of bizarre items in his room, including wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medication with another individual's name, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork belonging to a person unknown to Joseph. Joseph claims he feared that this individual who entered his room would return and try to harm him. So he reported the incident to the hotel staff, a local non-emergency police line, and Will Smith's management team. But according to Joseph's complaint, a member of Will's tour management team shamed him and told him he was being terminated. And if this was the first time Will was accused of something like this, maybe folks wouldn't even think twice about it. But this isn't the case. We've been hearing the same kind of talk about Will for years now. Remember when comedian Bert Kreischer claimed that back when he was just starting out in the industry, he got an invite to an audition for a project with Will's company? Bert said Will invited him to see a movie, but when he told his dad about it, his dad warned him that Will probably had other intentions.
They sit two chairs in the middle of a dance studio, facing two folding chairs in the middle of a dance studio, facing each other, and they're like, "We'll be in a second." I sat with the chair with my back to the door. I didn't know what door he was coming in. And he walked in behind me and I could feel his energy. And he liked me. He was like, "Let's go see a movie." I was like, "Okay."
You guys went to a movie?
I called my dad and I was like, I got in the car, my dad goes, "How'd it go?" I go, "It went great." He was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to the movies." My dad's like, "What?" I go, "We're going to the movies." And he was like, "Want a date?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I don't know, I really didn't ask." Like I was just needing, and he was like, "What do you mean? Like, what, you and him are going to the movies together?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And I was like, "It's at Planet Hollywood." And he was like, "They have a movie theater there?" I was like, "Dad, I don't know. Maybe we'll go get lunch there and dinner and then we'll go to the movies." And he was like, "Oh, buddy." He's trying to f you. I was like,
Now fast forward to 2020, and YouTuber Trisha Paytas made allegations that Will forced himself on her male dancers without their consent. Now let me be clear, these are just allegations, okay? But at the same time, it does make you side-eye a little when the same types of accusations just keep popping up around the same person. And that's what brings us right back to Bryshere Gray, another young man in the industry who allegedly was seriously damaged after being mentored by Will. Bryshere started out as a rapper in Philadelphia, performing at music festivals, and even opening up for big names like Fabulous and 2 Chainz. So he already had motion before TV ever came into the picture. But 2015 is when he really struck gold, landing that breakout role as Akeem Lyon on Empire alongside Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard. That role changed Bryshere's whole life overnight. But here's where it gets weird. That same year, Bryshere signed a record deal with Columbia Records, and people started calling him the new young Will Smith. And when you know it, Will himself stepped in, took Bryshere under his wing, and started mentoring him.
He's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's going to be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, you know? Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice.
But it gets darker. Around this time, rumors started swirling that Bryshere was being preyed on, not by just Will, but also by other older industry men, including Empire co-creator Lee Daniels. Way back in 2017, Bryshere and Daniels appeared on The Breakfast Club. And from the jump, the vibe was just off. Daniels was giving Bryshere these creepy looks, and once you noticed it, you couldn't unnotice it. And if you look at the comments, everyone was saying the same thing. Someone commented, "The way Lee and Bryshere look at each other, you already know. You want to be a star? What you gonna do for me?" And another user wrote, "I'm sorry, but does anyone else feel like Lee Daniels knows this young man better than he should? Why do I feel uneasy watching this? Bryshere, you okay?" Now you see that second comment is from 8 years ago. So even back then, long before all that Diddy stuff hit the mainstream, before folks in the industry started exposing these so-called mentorships with young men, fans were already noticing something wasn't right. People could tell early on that the way these grown men were moving around Bryshere just felt off. And now Will Smith's ex-best friend and assistant has come out and just basically set the record straight as to what Will really did to Bryshere. Just listen to this, y'all.
Bryshere Gray. So long story short, when I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, "You know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me," or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. "You know that Diddy sucked me, and you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part." Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance. And he's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much sweating and pain that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, "Please don't tell him. Please don't tell him." Will admitted to me that he had sex with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acted, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have intercourse with Bryshere, he said Bryshere did ask him to stop. Will said he finished, completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person says stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will Smith sexually Bryshere Gray. Period. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, "Listen, this is the best I can do." He said, "I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy at him." And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case. All that's coming out in court.
We did.
And he says he knows all this because it was Bryshere who broke it down to him and revealed what Will and Diddy made him do. And now it is being reported that all of this with Bryshere was going down at the same time when Jaden Smith decided to leave his home. And it is being alleged that Jaden wanted out because he could no longer stand whatever was happening. He allegedly tried to help Bryshere out, but by that time, he was too mentally disturbed. Now remember what Jaguar Wright said about Will and Jada's mentorship program? Well, it gets even darker.
People have collectively, including Will Smith, let's not leave him out. Why your son hates you? Why does your son hate you? Well, what did you do to Jaden?
Now, a lot of fans are connecting the dots and saying that if what Jaguar is hinting at is true, it could explain some of Jaden's unusual behavior. Because let's be real, both Jaden and Willow seem like they went through some weird stuff at home. Of course, we're just speculating here, but it does make you stop and wonder, especially when you see stuff like this. Now, when it comes to Bryshere, fans are saying the saddest part is that it really looks like he might be too far gone, like he's deeply broken. Recent reports say he's allegedly traumatized and refusing help, and instead of getting support, he's lashing out and acting even more erratic.
Probably gonna kill me tonight, so if I do wind up on the news on TMZ, I was found dead.
And on top of that, Bryshere recently launched an OF account where he's posting some wild videos with men. And get this, he even leaked his own private video with a trans person. Yeah, it's a lot. Well, let me know how you feel about this theory that Bryshere was victimized by older industry men, including Will Smith, allegedly. And what about Jaden? Do you think there's something weird about Will's dynamic with Jaden? Leave your comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.